Hey everybody, it's Hannah from Hand Physio, and we're going to be doing a full body stretch today, starting at our ankles, getting hamstrings, quads, hips, and then a little bit of our upper body. So this one you don't need any equipment, so you can just follow along. And we're going to start with our ankles today. So we're going to hold one knee up towards our chest, and then we're going to get balance on that standing leg. But now we're going to go through ankle rotations. So I want you to try and get that full range of motion through the ankle. So really trying to point. Really trying to get that sole of the foot outwards, now all the way up, and then sole of the foot inwards. So you're trying to be quite intentional about these ankle circles. It's not just kind of like shaking it out. I want you to actually try and get that range of motion. So we're going to go through both directions. And while you're doing this, you're also getting that balance on that other standing leg. If it's a little bit too much, you kind of hold on to something, or you can just do the circles with your foot down here so that it's less of a challenge, because I do want you to focus on the ankle circles, not just the balance. But if you can get two birds with one stone doing it like this, you can go ahead. So we'll do a few more on this side here, making sure you get both directions. And then we're going to swap sides. So plant that other foot and then bring up the other leg. And then we're going to do the same thing. So really trying to point, sole of the foot inwards, really trying to bring it all the way up, sole of foot outwards. So going through those ranges. The benefit of holding it here is that we aren't getting any movement at the knee. You're only getting movement at the ankle. So now we can go in the other direction. You might hear some clicks, some cracks. Normally, it's fine if you don't have any pain with that. It can be related to just some injuries in the past. Normally, it's just air bubbles and fluid moving around the joints. So I wouldn't worry too much. But if it bothers you, just reduce your range of motion a little bit. And again, if this is a bit too much, you can hold on to something and just do the ankle circles standing. Awesome. And so now we're going to get in through like the front of our shin here. So this one you want to have something a little bit comfier under the foot, because we're going to be curling our toes underneath and then almost doing like a mini knee bend. And what you're trying to get here is the toes are going to curl under, and then the front of the foot stretches underneath. So you should feel this kind of in through the front of the ankle here and a little bit onto the top of the foot. And so this is stretching those extensor muscles. So the ones that are pulling our toes and foot upwards. And again, you're not really like pushing your foot into the ground. You're just anchoring underneath you, and then you're feeling that stretch on the top of the foot. You can do this on a pillow or towel, anything that's soft, if it feels a little bit like too much on the top of your foot. So curl the other foot under, curl that toe, and then just bending forward. Just trying to feel that stretching through the front of the foot, front of the ankle. Bending in through the toe. We'll just do on the other side again. So curling the toes under. You're almost just trying to like press the front of your foot down towards the ground just to feel that stretch right in through that top of the ankle and through here. Other side, just a couple more again. Lovely. Now we're going to get into a stretch for the calves. So this can be kind of like your typical stretch. So the back leg is the one that's going to be stretched. I want you to try and keep that heel down, squeeze this knee and squeeze this quad, and then leaning forward. So squeeze the knee, keep the heel on the ground. And for me, I feel this in through the back of the calf here. and then kind of like lunging forward to get more of that stretch. So you can either hold it here, or you can kind of like back out of it a little bit, especially because you're squeezing the quad muscles in the knee. You can always just like hold it for a few seconds and then kind of like relax out of it. If you don't hold that squeeze in through the quad and keep your knee straight, you might feel a little stretch like down in your Achilles tendon, but you might not if you don't have enough like ankle range of motion to actually get there. So again, kind of play around with it. Squeezing the quad, you might feel a little bit higher up. Not squeezing the quad, you might feel a little bit lower down. But again, it really just depends on where you're tight and where you normally feel this calf stretch. Then we're going to switch sides. So other foot back, heel stays on the ground, squeeze quad, straighten that knee, bend forward. Heel on the ground and squeeze the quad. Again, for me, I feel this a little bit higher up in through my calf. If I bend my knee, I actually don't feel anything lower in my Achilles with this ankle, mostly because it like blocks for me. I have a little bit less range of motion here. And so that might be the same for you too, depending on past injuries, ankle range of motion. If you're tightened through your calves, it can be a lot of different things that make you feel a stretch slightly different than somebody else. And so if this is not quite enough, you can always do the stretch like up against a wall where you put your foot up here and then you lean forward. And so that gets a little bit of the big toe and then comes in as well. So again, a few different variations, but the one we're doing here, heel on the ground, knee straight, lunging forward. And I'm going to hold this one here. Lovely. All right. Now we're going to get into our hamstrings. And so for this one, it's a little bit of a, what would be like a hip hinge. And so feet are about hip width apart. Face this way to start. And then you're just going to be shifting your butt back. So my knees stay soft, so they aren't bending forward. Soft bend in the knees, and then my butt is shifting back. And then I feel the tension building in through my hamstrings here. My back stays straight, so I'm not rounding through, I'm not bending down. I'm just hinging and shifting my weight back and my hips back. Tension builds here. If you want to add a little bit of an arm raise, we can do that. Really try and sit back into those hips and feel that tension and that like active stretch almost into your hamstrings. We'll do 3 more. 3, 2, and last one. Lovely. Shake that out here. We're gonna get into our quads, kind of in like a typical quad stretch. So this one we are going to hold in through the bottom of our foot. And instead of just trying to like stretch as far as you can this way, I want you to try and squeeze this back glute. So if I squeeze my glute, that kind of like lines my hip up. And then if I actually put a bit of my pressure of my foot down into my hand, I get an active stretch of the quad. So I'm kind of using it as it's in this like really stretched position. So we're just gonna hold that there. And it is a little bit of an active one, so you do need to kind of like rest in between. So then we can kind of just like hang out here for a sec. And then we're gonna do another one. So get back in that position, squeeze that back glute, kind of put some pressure from your foot down into your hand. Try and stand up tall so we're not hunched over. Standing up tall, squeeze, press, and hold. And if this is a bit too much, you can use a chair, stool, whatever you might need. So instead of holding my hand, my knee's a little bit less bent, and so it's a bit less intense. So squeezing and kicking. 3, 2, 1. And then we're gonna swap sides. So for me, I'm gonna hold here, squeeze this back glute, kick a little bit into my own hand, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you can kind of relax. Let that quad chill out for a second. And then we're gonna go again. Squeeze the glute, a little bit of an active press into your hand. Hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then chill. And then last one here. Squeeze the glute, kick, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake that guy out. Awesome. All right, now we're gonna get into a little bit of our upper body here. And so we're gonna start kind of with a big side stretch to kind of get all the stuff through the side. So you're going to put the foot of the side that you're stretching behind. You're going to shift your hips over to the side and reach up and over. So you can use this hand to kind of pull if you want to get more in through the lats. If you want to get more in through lower body, you need to kind of like let your hips shift as you reach. You can kind of rotate a little bit to see where you feel it. So if I lean forward, I feel more in through kind of like the back of my low back. If I lean back and upwards, you're gonna get more hip flexor, kind of like front of abs here. This arm over top, I feel more in through my lats here. So again, play around with whatever you feel you need most. Take some deep breaths here. So we'll do inhale and exhale. See if on the exhale you can kind of like shift a little bit more into that stretch. Another inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. And let that go. And then we'll swap sides. So the side you're stretching, foot goes behind, hips shift over that way, arm raises over top. Use this hand to pull if you want. Again, more pull for me, I get more lats. If I lean forwards, I get more low back. If I lean and open up, I get more hip flexor abs. So find what you need most, and then take a deep breath in. Really try and open up. When you exhale, try and sink further into the stretch. So another inhale. And then exhale and let go. We'll do one more, inhale. And exhale. Let that go. Last one we're gonna do is just a little bit of rotation. So I want you to in just like a semi-lunge position. And what we're gonna do here is essentially almost like a, I think we call it a bow and arrow stretch or like exercise for upper body. But you're basically going to be like pulling this back towards the leg that's in front. So almost like you're going to go pull an arrow, in a bow and arrow. And so we're really just trying to get that rotation into the upper body. So reaching forward with this front arm, rotating back, opening up. Do 2 more on this side. Last one. Then you put the other foot forward, both arms in front, pull like a bow and arrow, and get that full rotation. Two more. And last one. And shake it out. Whew. So if you need to attend to any of those areas that you feel more tight in, just rewind the video and head back to that spot. And then otherwise, hope your running goes well and hope your training goes well. Thanks, guys.